It's the #1 new show on cable, so this time we'll hit them even harder. Sunday, don't miss an all-new half-hour news hour.
He's been referred to as one of the most dangerous men on the planet, but that didn't stop a 13-member delegation of United States religious leaders from meeting with Iranian Winkler Mahmoud Ahmadinejad on a mission to open up diplomatic dialogue. The clergy members traveled to the rogue nation in an attempt to bridge a peace between the two countries. Joining us now are two members of the delegation, the General Secretary of the United Methodist Board of Church and Society, Jim Winkler, and the Chief Operating Officer of Sojourners, Reverend Jeff Carr, with us. All right, guys, look, here's a guy that's denying the Holocaust. This is a guy that keeps repeatedly saying death to the United States, death to Israel, wants to wipe him off the map. This week just referred to Israel as, Satan. You guys met with him. You challenge him on these things?
Sure did. We asked him directly about his comments regarding Israel and about the Holocaust. We told him we believe that the Holocaust is a historical fact and that there must be a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestinian crisis. Jeff, do you want to take that?
Yeah,
what did he say?
Well, he specifically didn't make reference to wiping Israel off the face of the map. We asked him that directly, but he did say something we thought was interesting, is that he believes the Israeli and the Palestinian conflict cannot be solved through military means, but only through political means. And we took that as
do you actually believe him? I mean, we've got videotape. This guy denies the Holocaust. I mean, on every single level, he said all of these things, and now he wants to present a different face for you. With all due respect, and I don't mean any insult here, it sounds to me like he wants to use you, religious leaders, as propaganda tools.
Well, Sean, I think it's important to remember that we went to Iran to meet with a variety of people. We met with other religious leaders, Muslim clerics. We met with other members of the government. And I think it's a mistake for us to believe that the Iranian regime and the Iranian government is one monolithic government. There actually are many centers.
Why should we not take his words seriously? Why should we not, a guy that says death to the United States, wipe Israel off the map, and the Holocaust didn't occur? Why shouldn't we believe him? It sounds to me like you want to believe a guy that is absolutely a modern-day madman.
I don't think by talking to him that equates with believing everything that he says. What we believe is that war is not necessary at this time.
No, but is he using you for propaganda? I mean, he says one thing when he's in front of his constituency. He talks about annihilating an innocent country. He's an anti-Semite. And then you guys come to town and he denies it to your face. And I wonder if he doesn't think he can't use you to come back to the United States and say, you know what, he's not really a bad guy. He's fairly reasonable.
We haven't said that. We think that it's time that there be discussions between our country and Iran. We believe it needs to take place at both the people-to-people level as well as at the governmental level. And I'm excited to see that Secretary Rice is going to be sitting down with Iran and Syria. I hope and pray it'll help.
And Mr. Winkler, Reverend Carr, Talent Combs, thank you both for coming on. As I see it, the real issue here isn't whether he's a Holocaust denier or some of the rhetoric he's spewed, which is despicable rhetoric, and no question about it. But what is the best policy, Reverend Carr? And do you go to war with somebody simply because they're a Holocaust denier or because they spout off against Israel, or do you try to have a dialogue, something the administration seems to have now reversed itself on, as per Condoleezza Rice last week?
Well, I think that's right, Alan. I think the important thing is that we begin to start a dialogue with the Iranian people and the Iranian government. I think we may decide when we go to war, but you don't determine when a war will end, and I think Iraq has proven that. And I think it's time we begin to talk to our enemies. In fact, it was former Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir, Israeli Prime Minister, who actually said, you make peace with your enemies, not with your friends.
Mr. Winkler, I'm curious about, as you have said upon your return, that Ahmadinejad wants to use energy just for energy, use nuclear power for energy, not for war. How can we believe those kinds of statements from him? How do we know we're getting the truth when he makes those statements to you and to your group?
Well, wasn't it President Reagan who said trust but verify? And I think that's the key through continued inspections. I also was fascinated to hear from all the religious leaders we spoke to saying that Islam forbids the production, possession, and use of nuclear weapons, and that was from a fatwa that was issued by the Grand Ayatollahs of Iran. And obviously, I hope and pray that there's truth to that. That was what we heard.
Guys, if he stops providing weapons that are being used to kill Americans, when he stops threatening the annihilation of innocent countries, and he acknowledges the Holocaust, then maybe we can think about how